Hi, and welcome to the show.
Hello, and welcome to A Cup of Joe and a Show. This is episode 13. Now, I'm going to say, before I introduce everybody, we did have...
12.
Oh, it's episode 12. My bad. See, I got lost.
Ghostface killed them.
Because we were going to do all of the Scream movies, but we had a problem with our audio
Got
for
killed.
2 and 3.
Slashed.
After we
It
recorded
did.
both
After,
episodes.
Yeah, we realized that we had no audio recorded.
What's your favorite scary movie podcast? Not the second or third one.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly.
And then our schedules did not line up to re-record and
I
go
got
on.
sick.
We couldn't get back together to re-record, and I still haven't seen 4. I've seen snippets of 5, enough to be dangerous. I am Kenny. I am joined with Jared Walker
Hello.
and Jim Master.
How dare you?
How dare I what? Skip you? Not do you first,
No.
or not respond to your ghost face?
That could be too. I have no clue. I'm just saying, how dare you?
Well, how dare you?
How dare you, sir?
This bit went off the rails.
It did. So we're doing this because we just saw the new Scream movie, Scream 6.
Ghostface takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
But it also didn't feel like that. It also, like, there was, like, 2 scenes that felt like a city, and everything else was just, like, that could be Chicago.
There's a lot more set pieces that, or Detroit. Actually, there'd have to be more guns for Detroit.
Ooh.
In Chicago, there's a lot of knives and stabbing, so that tracks.
Are you sure? Because it could have been South Bend.
How many people how long will it take for these Ghostface killers to realize knives don't work?
Well, in this movie, they did. Non-spoilers, but they did.
I mean, spoiler, because you see a shotgun in the one trailer.
Yeah.
But like they
But this
don't.
is
That's not the primary weapon,
But
though,
this is the
of
first
the
time
Ghostface killer.
It's an interesting thing, though, because the first time Ghostface ever used a gun while in the whole getup.
Well, and
They've used them without it.
I
but-
think that's because, like, for the plot of that, I can't really go into that. Like, he didn't actively carry a shotgun, though.
No, but it was cool.
Right.
I
It was
enjoyed it.
cool. It was cool.
It was a nice change of pace.
It was like a change of
Well,
scenery,
change of kill, I guess you could say.
which it kind of follows the line of the original Screams, where in the sequel they go to college, because that's kind of what happens in this one.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 main characters from number 5 go off to college. Well, one of them goes off to college. The other one just goes
Lives
because
there because she's
lives there.
26.
she's protective.
But anyway,
Yeah.
before we get too much into details, let's get into just an overall summary. We're not going to do a spoiler at the beginning because
Right. We're gonna.
this movie comes out tomorrow.
Now I'm going to spoil that by saying there will be spoilers later on.
Later's on.
Yes,
yes.
and we'll have a
We'll
have
have
a
'em.
scream. We'll scream when we.
we will
Or
not
no,
do
we
will
that.
not.
We will
Why not?
No, we're not going to do that.
Oh, come on. If I get a real knife, will you stab me and I'll scream?
Okay, this has gone
Okay.
off the rails. Just read the description.
All
please.
right. All right.
So
Stu.
according to IMDb.com, Scream 6, in the next installment, the survivors of the Ghostface killings leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter in New York City. That's all the description is. That's your non-spoiler.
descriptions these
Wow.
days. No, I'll tell you the descriptions these days for movies are horrible.
Yeah.
They are.
They're
Well,
so
and
short and
That's basically what you see in the trailer too. Is essentially that is
yeah.
you don't know why the Ghostface killer is coming after him again.
But you know that like
But you
the
know,
mask is old and it looks gross and broken and
right. You know,
you know something's new. Something
with all the
It looks
Scream
worn.
films, it's all about the past. In all of the Scream films, there's always some element from the past.
Someone
coming.
always comes back. And,
Right. Rhythm's gonna get you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the summary.
I feel like IMDb like had a summary of the movie. then went on to like one of those cheap summary websites.
And then just changed it.
No.
I think
Disney
AI
just, like,
developed the
and
summary.
then they plugged in the summary they actually made of the movie like 5 different times to get that short little brief description of the movie. That's what I feel like they did.
So the returning cast, you have Melissa Barrera.
Yeah.
Barrera is Sam Carpenter. You have Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, Jenna Ortega as Tara Carpenter. You have Jasmine Savoy Brown. I think I said that right. As Mindy Meeks.
Martin.
Yeah, Martin, because there's a hyphen in the hyphen. It didn't cover that. Then you have Chad, the brother of Mindy. And then you have Hayden Panettiere as Kirby from Scream 4. And then you got, like, all these other characters that are just, like, names that don't really matter because, you know.
They're
They're not-
Ghostface fodder for the most.
They're Ghostface fodder. I mean, you do have Samara Weaving as, like, the cold open lady of the thing, which...
It's kind of a spoiler.
I love Samara Weaving. You don't know what happens in the cold open, but
Yeah.
she's in like the Babysitter franchise, and she's pretty good.
So,
Do you want to get to spoilers then at that point? Cause
well, before we do that, I want to hear like raw thoughts. Like when you walked out, did you love it? Did you hate it? Where do you?
so I didn't like it as much as number 5. I thought the reveal was a little weak for my taste, but I also thought the the third act was really well done. That it kind of like sugar-coated the reveal a little bit. I thought the action in this film was really great. There's a lot of really good action. There's some good chase scenes. There weren't like a lot of parts in the film where I was like, "Why are you doing this?" kind of thing. Like. There's a couple sections where it's like, why smart people wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
But overall, I like the character developments. They tried to do that with some of the third-party characters there. I thought it was a good film overall. I think I would rank Scream 1, Scream 5, and then this Scream, and then 4, and then like 3 and 2 because I like 3 over 2, but you guys don't. If the other episodes were surviving, you guys would know that I'm the minority here. I liked Scream 3 over Scream 2.
You really missed a rant from
Oh, it was
Kenny on
great.
Scream 3.
It was great. Yeah. So Kenny, what are your thoughts? You probably like this more than Scream 3.
I love this compared to Scream 3.
Yay!
Scream 3 needs to be taken and thrown in the dumpster. That's how bad it is. And then lit on fire. That's how
I
much
do like
it
to
is.
dumpster dive, so.
There is a dumpster in this movie.
Yes.
That's where
Yes.
Scream 3 is.
Yes. That was a good scene.
Wait till we get to that part. Oh
I mean,
my-
it's New York City. There's a lot of dumpsters in New York City.
yes, but
And
this
Chicago.
And Chicago.
Detroit
And Philadelphia.
and South Bend.
Yeah. And South Bend.
South Bend. So, I mean, this
Although,
could've-
could you imagine if this took place in South Bend? You'd have like some Ghostface killers on some lime bikes. That'd be so great.
There are no more line bikes. They're on the river.
What's your favorite lime bike experience?
Anyway, I liked the movie. It was really good. Like Jim said, there was some great action scenes. I did do a lot of questioning of like character decisions, like when they were doing something. It's like, why are you doing this? Because you're gonna get killed, and then 2 seconds later, third party character gets killed. I mean,
Right, because there's like some scenes where you're like, there's a fight or flights opportunity, and you're like, why are they fleeing? Like,
Just go away.
or like when Ghostface appears and they're fighting back and they actually get a good hit on Ghostface. It's
they
like,
do some
okay,
damage.
Yeah, they do, and it's like you hit Ghostface. It's like, okay, why are you standing around? Just
Right.
get your butt out of there and
Right.
survive,
Or finish the job, you know?
or try and kill him.
Well, we know from 5 that trying to finish the job is
Well, but there's finishing a job and then being stupid about it. Like, no spoilers for 5, but
And no spoilers for this one either, from me anyway, of a certain person.
lesson in life: put your phone on vibrate.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Did you like this better than Scream 3, Jared? By the way,
Well, I mean, yes, but I will go one step beyond, and I'll say this is probably the best one since the original. I
second that.
saw 5 yesterday for the first time because I was dreading it because there was a very specific moment in 5 that
I love that moment.
I didn't want to see because and the movie Scream 5 is very sad and depressing in my opinion. It makes you really care about the side characters a little bit more than you should.
That's why I liked it.
So when they get to the
Get ganked.
get dispatched, you're kind of like,
Yes.
dang it. you
That's
were
why I
cool."
liked it. There's all these emotions. Like
But
in
there
this
was no
one,
happiness. I never felt happy watching 5. I was always just like, that's sad. But this one, we were in the theater and we were jumping around, just going crazy. Like this, I was all over the place for this one. I
Well,
think,
especially at a certain scene too.
Yes.
I'm not going to say anything yet, but you
Yeah.
already know the scene.
yeah. But this one really, for a 6th movie in a franchise, this is the
it's
the whole
it's
whole
strong.
spoof on this one is franchises. But
Right.
for the 6th one, it does really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Like
think
Friday the
I think it does a
13th,
really
6.
strong job.
No.
No.
Or the Halloween series,
Halloween
with
6,
with
Halloween
their
6
requels,
specifically.
or just the requels. If you're looking at Halloween and then Halloween Kills, then Halloween Ends.
But I did like Halloween Kills Ends.
Ugh.
I didn't like Kills as much as Ends in the first one, but
Ugh.
I liked those.
Evil never dies, but that franchise needs to.
Well, it is now,
I don't know. Don't count it out.
unless they want to do Season of the Witch 2.
Hollywood likes those buckets of money.
Just like there's going to be a new Pennywise thing on HBO.
Yeah, it's a dairy.
Like Pennywise, like Welcome to Dairy. or
Welcome to
something.
Dairy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't like
so
that.
like they're doing a backstory of.
Why? You don't need it.
everything. It's you don't need a backstory.
Well, we don't know why Pennywise crashed onto Earth. Maybe he was like helping some like slave aliens get off their planet, and in doing so, it made his spaceship crash land onto Earth, and like he's just misunderstood Kenny.
Okay,
Pennywise is
that
just
might be true.
misunderstood.
That sounds like a Stephen King thing.
No, it doesn't. You shut up. That is not Stephen King. Maybe him on Twitter, not in his books.
Well, there's some in it. There's one scene in it where.
Yeah, but that's not misunderstood. That is like, anyway.
But that is some Stephen King, like some weird.
That was
anyway.
Stephen King on cocaine, though.
Yeah.
So and
Anyway,
alcohol.
Let's get back to
Scream.
Yeah.
6. But yeah, I really loved this movie, and I thought it was the best one since the first one, and then I would put 2, and then 5, and then 3 or 4. I haven't seen 4 in a long time, but I remember 4 being super weak until the end.
Mm.
But 3 is at least entertaining the whole way through. We'll have a definitive ranking after we crank out those other episodes.
Again. Do we have to watch 2 and 3 again?
No, we do
Okay.
not.
Okay.
We just have to.
As
watch
long as
4.
we do the review
and 5.
within, like, I don't know, like 4 weeks from now.
Before we're
Maybe.
old and wizened and
Yeah.
gnarled.
All right,
it.
so
I'm almost there.
so
Dang.
is this the point where we're going to get into spoilers?
Spoilers!
That's more like a whale, and we can edit that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that.
No, you just make it more screechy.
No,
Nah.
I'm gonna cut that.
You pitch the mic, probably.
I'm gonna leave the fact that I just said I'm going to cut that out, and everyone's gonna wonder why are you saying you're gonna cut that
You don't
out?
have
What
you
do
don't have
what
to
are you
explain
cutting?
it. You're the Ghostface killer in this scenario. You killed my high.
What?
And they'll never know because they won't know what he cut out. Anyway, spoiler alert.
Spoilers here. Nobody in the main cast dies at all.
No, and I thought
That was very refreshing.
It
yes
was.
and no, because like this whole film, it plays a lot on the it pulls a lot from the prior films, right? And it's meant to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And like as soon as Chad comes out of that theater alive on a gurney, I'm like, oh no, he's the new Dewey.
Yeah,
It's exactly the same thing.
But yeah, and the whole time though, he's that lovable like goofball. He's like core four, and it's just
I
like,
loved it. I loved him, and I thought
it made his character from. I didn't like his character in the fifth one because he was barely in it.
See, I still
So
like
he
their characters.
didn't have that much of a development. Like
Sure.
he was just Randy's nephew. But in this one, he really showed like, oh no, he is kind of a goofball. He's not like a jock like you'd expect him just by the way.
Right.
He
He's
looks.
he's not the stereotypical jock.
He's a perfect mix with his sister between like Randy and Randy's sister.
They didn't really explain why the move to New York.
Just because they wanted to go to college together.
Yeah,
and
but
and Woodsboro's in Ohio. I get right.
no, it's in California. Woodsboro's in California. They went to Ohio in the second film.
The
college.
Windsor College.
Windsor College, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they wanted to get away as far as possible.
I guess to like a big city, which so that because you have the small city of Woodsboro to a bigger city of New York. I get that. They didn't really like. I guess that's one of the divergences from the second film in the original Ridge Tridge. I guess you could say the quadruple, but and then this requel kind of trilogy because. In the second one, they actually do have classes, and they have a little bit of that.
Well, they say they have classes on this one.
Yeah,
I
but other
assume-
than the teacher getting killed, and then the dorm living, you don't really see any. And then the one kid's like, "I was in econ class."
I assume I always thought like this movie took place probably like on the weekend.
Well, yeah, it took place during a Halloween, that's for sure. I didn't feel like they needed to be in college.
Right.
Like
No.
I could have felt like they could have taken away the college setting, and they would have been perfectly fine.
But it also like in the fifth one they were all seniors in high school except for
No,
Sam.
I get that's
So
the
the-
natural tract of them, but I didn't really think that they really needed to. Like if you took the college scenario out, I think it would have been fine.
Yeah, they just had to have a
It calls back to
through
the
line,
second one
yeah.
where they're going to college and all that. Yeah.
Mhm. I like that they makes you put you in the mindset of like how a 18, 19-year-old kind of thinks like, oh, we're going to college, we're all going together. Oh, let's go to New York, like crazy because they're from California, so they're not going to go. Obviously, like they're already there.
Right, and they're not going to go to Ohio again. So.
No,
No.
Windsor College too, Electric
I'm-
Boogaloo,
I'm kind of sad that like Gail Weathers wasn't like more
prominent.
well. She's in New York, and they kind of have a
And that's where
relationship
kind
kind of going on. I felt like maybe it would have been a little cooler if she was like a mentor, or at least like was more active in their lives a little bit.
Well, they
I know I
they
realized
set
why
that
they
up
weren't.
in the fifth one to be
Yeah,
that, but then in this one they push her back to being a money grubby
well, and that's
writer
why
about.
that's why she needed to die. Because she went right back to her exact tract. She
mean,
wrote the
yes.
book. She sold the rights to the true crime biopic or whatever it was. Like she just needed to die. They did the whole punching thing, which was great because they threw the punch the first time and she ducked it like a pro, and then
That was
Jenna
cool.
Ortega just socked her. But it felt too much like the first one.
Yeah,
Like there was all these like little instances with just like where it's like, oh, it just felt like a rehash, like a somebody went onto YouTube and did a compilation of all the greatest scenes in all the Scream films and just mashed them all together.
mm-hmm.
It's kind of like actually with Richie, how his dad said, "Oh, he made movies."
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, where it's like you have a guy that just mashed everything together. Like I'm not faulting the movie because it was a good movie, but it just felt too familiar.
And that's kind of like the thing they're going for in this one is franchises. So
No, I get
you're-
that.
You kind of expect to have a lot of those
Right.
callbacks a little bit.
And it wasn't as bad as the Star Wars franchise. Because if you look
Yes.
at Episode
Oh.
7, and you look at like The New Hope, they were very similar, right?
Mm-hmm. And 7 was everything that was new was, hey, look at this. Hey, look,
Right.
that's Han Solo.
Right.
Hey, look, that's a hunk of junk ship. No, it's
Right.
Millennium
There wasn't
Falcon.
there wasn't like a huge reveal with Kirby, one of the legacy characters from Scream 4. And it didn't like pause the screen like Luke Skywalker did at the end of number.
Yeah,
number
there was a
7, right?
music swell and it zoomed
Right.
in and
And then Kirby just looks around and yeah. So I'm glad
and
they
then she
didn't.
throws a donut over her shoulder off the cliff.
Well, yeah, Samantha or what's her name? Hands her gun.
yeah.
I did like the little subversions that because they talk about how a franchise they subvert all the expectations, and they
Like
last-
anyone can go.
right, anyone can go, or at the very beginning of the film where the teacher gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out that there was these like 2 film students that were going to try and do the same thing, and then they got killed for.
Yeah,
I like
li-
that.
I was like when she just because I had read online that the opening was really different,
Yeah.
and then she just got killed, and I was like, really? That's all it's gonna be? And then it zooms in on him, and he takes the mask off, and you're like,
Right. But
And
they
the fir-
actually showed the killer this.
Yeah.
Like I thought and then of course they turned the tables.
What
I
I thought-
love that scene.
what I thought when they first took his mask off was, oh, we're just as the audience this time we're gonna know, and we're gonna
Right.
follow this, and we're just gonna know everything so we can put it together
Right.
ourselves and then be in on it. They didn't do it, and that's probably for the best because we got a better movie out of that. But
Right. The whole hot and cold game I really did enjoy.
yeah, and decapitations.
And the decapitations, I like that too. Yeah, I thought this film did a really good job of subverting some of the stuff. And the action was superb.
Ghostface is. I've seen people talk about this in the last couple months and years since the last movie. If you noticed, we watched 1, 2, and 3. Ghostface falls over, trips, gets hit with a refrigerator door.
Oh yeah.
In these ones, like, Ghostface doesn't trip. He gets hit in the face by stuff, but like, it's not gonna trip over a couch cushion like it did in 2 or 3.
I will say though that those costumes
It's
are
very
not
clumsy.
are not meant to be elegant in, right? Because they like you could trip over those things pretty easily. But I did think that they did a pretty good job of
Adds to the scare of
Adds
them
to
not
the
being
scare.
like clumsy.
and it almost elevates them to the supernatural kind of side of things. Because
When they
like
did that
that
in
fight
3.
with Gale where he's just like leaping over stuff and like just like jumping through stuff like that and then disappearing and whatnot. I thought that was I really enjoyed that fight.
Yeah, and then when you get to the reveal, we're gonna reveal the killer right now
If you don't want to hear it,
because I have a theory kind of on this.
Dewey. It's not
Yeah, Dewey, Stu, and Charlie Walker all come
and
back.
Billy Loomis.
So the killers in this are so that's Richie's family from the last movie. Richie the killer from the last movie gets brutally killed in that movie.
Stabbed 22 times,
One
Throat
one
slit.
through the mouth on both cheeks.
throat slit, shot to the head.
So
That was a great scene in that number
it
5.
ends up being like they pull all of the like twists that we've seen in all these other movies. Like it was a family member.
right.
it
It's always
was-
from the past.
Like it was in 4 was a family member.
right.
And it was a secret brother, which was like 3. It was just a bunch of like remember this? We're not going to tell you, but if you pick up on it, it elevates the thing. And my thought was in that scene with Gale were 2 of them there? Because there's 3 killers in this movie. 5 if you count the 2 at the beginning.
First time in a Scream movie there's been 3 killers.
First time there's been 5 too.
Well, 4. The one kid doesn't kill anybody.
But they talked about
They were
it.
like if they actually executed the plan, then 5.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was cool.
it turns out to be Dermot Maroney or whatever his name is. Yeah, Dermot
Officer
Maroney.
Bailey or whatever.
Yeah, Detective Bailey,
Mhm.
and then his 2 kin.
Yeah, one of them is Chad's roommate, and one of them is Tara's roommate.
Yeah,
So they have a real tight leash on this group of friends.
They do. There was, it's supposed to be Richie's dad and brother and sister,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought for sure that it would have been Stu's family.
Yeah.
Like,
And-
because they mentioned that they mentioned that they had a brother that died in a pretty tragic way.
Car accident.
They say the car accident. Yeah. I thought that it was going to be building up to Stu because they do this whole countdown from the last Scream film to Scream 1.
Mm-hmm. They're leaving.
And
every
I
kill,
thought
they're
for
leaving
sure it was going to be avenging for Stu's murder because Billy Loomis, convinced him to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that would have been like a perfect little tie-in and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't do it. They do the Richie aspect and they make him, I don't know, I guess crazy runs in the family.
Yeah, I was thinking more like right before the reveal happened, and I leaned over to Kenny at this moment, and I told him who I know exactly who it is.
He knew, like, at the beginning of the film. Kenny called it.
Yeah.
Which one did you call?
I leaned over.
He killed the. He
I got
killed.
the detective.
He called the detective.
I called the detective. I was.
So
like,
did our friend that
because,
also watched it with us. He called it like a few weeks before. But
Yeah, because I leaned over to Jim when I saw him the first time, and I was like,
it's him.
I think it's him. And Jim was like, no, it's too obvious.
It was a little obvious, and that and then they threw some really good red herrings, like they
The new boyfriend.
Well, and the daughter, the detective's daughter, the roommate gets butchered, or so you think.
Yeah. Just kind of that was similar to like in 4.
Right.
If you remember that. I know Kenny hasn't seen that one yet, but there is a
Well, or in 3
brutal
where
slaying in 4.
or in 3 where the guy fakes his death too.
Yeah. Roman.
And then they do the whole thing with you don't think it's the brother, the other roommate because he's in the train car when it happened to.
Well, right, but and they also play him as
An idiot.
scrawny.
Yeah, he's very scrawny.
He's scrawny, and he is the definition of a nerd.
Right,
Yeah.
because
I
you
mean,
think
he
there's
has the look of a nerd.
Right.
And he's like, I was in
his
econ
class.
I was in an econ in a study hall. You can ask 100 people who were there. I was there. So it's like they played him
Well,
to the friend group as a complete and utter nerd.
And I thought that was going to be the reveal because when I leaned in and told you that it was the brother and the brother, the sister, and the guy, because the sister says my brother died. I thought it was just going to be my brother never died and he was right there the whole time.
right.
I didn't think that they were going to really tie into the last movie.
Sure.
I wish that they would have just
I wish it had been Stu.
yeah, or just leave him if they even wanted to leave him out just to like not have it be so.
Yeah, I felt like the reveal was the weakest point of this film.
Yeah, like Stu could have been related to these people.
Like the buildup
But
was
I didn't.
great.
I thought that the whole "my brother died" was gonna be, "Oh, your brother's alive. He never died, and he's right here." And then you're all doing this, and you're like Stu's like cousins, or the dad is the uncle, and they're his cousins,
right.
or something like.
I thought he would have been related to Stu just because they're counting down from the last Scream to the first Scream.
Yeah,
I really didn't. I thought that the whole reveal was the weakest part. Like it wasn't terrible because it ties in with the first requel movie, Scream 5. I mean, it works. And the action after that point was so great that I didn't really care about the reveal at that point. I just liked watching them all die
yeah, and they
brutally too.
they get you to think like that. This is the first movie in the series that I remember thinking. It literally could be anyone. For a while, I thought it was going to be
Right,
Chad.
they show a lot of red herrings in this, from
everybody has
Kirby
an-
being a mentally unstable detective.
And at that point, it's probably a lie. It's probably not true because the cop probably said that just to, you know what I mean, like have.
But it works too. Like they could have literally changed the script and had the reveal be Kirby. Like I could. But there was that point where she was just like, Kirby wouldn't murder people with knives at that point. She'd just shoot them. So I'm like, at that point, I'm like, she's not using a gun. I don't think it's Kirby. Plus, Kirby's shorter. And those, you can kind of tell, throughout the film when you see Ghostface, it's the dad at that point. Because like Kenny said, the one kid was too scrawny.
Well, every Ghostface, like, it's always a stand-in. It's never the actual actor.
Right, but
Because
even
in the last movie, that one girl, she was tiny.
oh sure, I don't buy it for 1 second that she took a couple bullets to the chest with the bulletproof vest and then took down Dewey like she did. Spoilers for that, but oh well. But yeah, I don't bet for one instance that was feasible. But some of these, like the just the way that the fight scene was choreographed with like Gale and just the strength that the Ghostface killer had, it kind of threw me away from some of those scrawnier kids.
The way that they,
because he like lifts one of them up by the neck at one point.
well, that is, I think it's Mindy
Yeah,
or Annika.
yeah, something. It was
It's at the house, right at
Yeah.
the apartment. But I just figured this out. The one that was stabbing Gale was the sister.
right because she says later on that she was like stabbing.
Well, and also
Plus, she's
they stole the cop car with the cop physically there, and then the brother was in the van.
right.
So
And
with
she
the
was
Cheetos.
technically dead at that point, so that she could actually go
Get a-
around.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
So yeah, some of that was, and some of it you got to like suspend disbelief too, because these people get stabbed and sliced so many times. It's like any normal person would be down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I thought it was really good. I thought the third act was probably the strongest point after the reveal, just from all the action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked all the callbacks.
The set piece.
Set
With
piece
all
was brilliant.
all of the blink and you'll miss it, like, little cameos of like little bits of things from
Right,
all the other ones,
right.
and
You could seriously just pause and just like look at
Yeah.
it for 10 minutes or so, and just be like, okay, that's from that one, that's from that one.
and these killers are kind of brutal because for them, I don't know if they're doing this intentionally or not, but they're like stabbing everybody in the same spot they've already been stabbed at
Kirby
before.
gets stabbed in the same
Same
area
spot.
too.
Yeah, and then Mindy gets stabbed in the same spot, I think, twice.
Yeah,
got-
I think she gets stabbed on the other side too, because
In this
usually it's always like the right side of the gut,
Mhm.
But
And,
she gets like nicked in the arm, and she gets sliced a couple times, and
Mm-hmm. And like, I feel that's my suspension of disbelief on some of these stabbings, because they stab these people and then they turn the knife.
yeah.
I feel like you're dead at that point, right?
Well,
You're not going to be running around.
That was the one thing about the Ghostface killers in this film. Like, they would make sure that the side characters were dead, but like the core characters, they were like, okay, I stabbed him a couple times, like Kirby. Like, they knocked Kirby unconscious, didn't take the time to kill her.
Didn't kill Chad. Spoiler. Like,
Well, but they did a pretty good job of trying to kill Chad too. I feel like Chad was just unconscious, and they were like, okay, he's dead.
but then at
Like
that
that
point,
point-
if I am the Ghostface killer, if I'm in this movie, I will make sure. All right, we think they're dead. Head.
Well, and that's the thing with
When
Kirby.
they-
They knock her out, but they don't even take her gun either.
No.
Because she pops up with her gun. Like these Ghostface killers, they were just stupid at that point.
Well, and she gets
Maybe they were just so
she
like
gets stabbed
crazy.
by the son,
Right.
and then Sam pulls the knife out of her and says, "Just stay here."
And there's so many knives
And-
in that area. Like
and,
there's
like-
like 10 knives.
But the family is on the floor level where Kirby is, laying
Right.
in the middle of the thing. They could
Right,
just
they're
walk
just
they could
watching
walk
it.
over and go, "Gotcha."
Right.
They could just be like, "All right."
Well,
you're
and where's the dad at that point? Because there's like this one scene where like Jenna Ortega's character is like hanging, and the son is just like trying to like.
the dad could literally just shoot her. And
He had a gun. He had like at least two guns.
I thought she was gonna get shot because she kills the son. Kills in quotations.
Right.
We'll see that in a minute. But when she like breathes and holds her hands above her head, I thought she was gonna get shot in the chest by the
Well, and I kind of imagine that they wanted her to kill the sister with a knife. That was
Mhm.
like the whole point of it. So if there was gunshot wounds in her, there might be a little bit of a they didn't match the caliber of Kirby's gun,
I
that kind of a thing. But I'm just trying to
But at this
explain
point,
away
your
some
plan-
inaccuracies.
Your plan has gone so far off the rails.
Oh sure,
Just put him
right,
down. Put 'em-
right. I'm kind of surprised they didn't like light the whole place on fire at the end,
Well,
like the two sisters.
It was cool because they had the
backdrop of
the
the
backdrop
fire.
of the fire.
Right.
It was pretty cool. But I mean, it was very smart
Yeah.
to do this. To have a lot of like, because they don't bring it back saying like, "Oh, you faked your death like Roman did," or
Right. They didn't
you have
like
your secret brother like Roman, or you're just
they didn't highlight all the bad screams, right? They did, but they didn't like show like they didn't spend too much time on it.
yeah. There was a picture of
There was
of
pictures
one of
and
the
there's
girl-
memorabilia, and they said, "Oh, that's Loomis's mom's jacket over there." I liked how they did that. They even paid homage to Wednesday, the TV show Wednesday.
Yeah, there was a girl dressed up as Wednesday.
Well, and the doctor's office, there was these Addams Family toys.
oh really? I
Yeah,
didn't catch that.
yeah, on the counter. Yeah,
Yeah, there was a lot of like
a lot of things.
Better
To
cameos.
various.
that you have to rewatch because there's
There's a Michael Myers costume.
yeah there's
so many.
there's a Freddy, there's a
Right.
Pinhead, there's
on the subway scene.
Yeah.
There's
the
so many.
Babadook,
Right.
someone,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then when the first kids are killed, like the original killers are killed, when Sam's walking past the dorm room that they're in, it's Elm Court,
Right.
Elm Street, Wes Craven.
Now
The whole
here's a funny, interesting theory I just thought of. Since in this world of Scream, these killers have been franchised. They've been, there's movies, there's books, and they even show that the popular Ghostface mask has tripled in sales.
mm-hmm.
There's also sales of Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger. What if they're all in the same universe?
Well, I've been trying to pitch this for about 6 months now. So there's Monster Squad from the 80s
Yeah.
with all the Universal monsters.
Right.
Make a Monster Squad 2 with like Freddy, Jason, Ghostface,
And just have like a
Michael Myers.
final girl versus monster Hunger Game scenario.
Yeah, like everyone's going at it and there's like a group of people and there's probably like
It's all orchestrated by Stu.
maybe
He's like the collector in this universe. He's like part machine, part.
more machine than man.
All right. So,
But
final
yeah,
thoughts.
Hey, I'm gonna say that I really didn't catch on to
a lot of the small details.
Well, no. Especially like in the opening scene with the what was it, Quinn, the roommate, when she said, "I lost my brother."
yeah. It really went over your
Right,
head.
it went right over my
Right.
head.
We're
And I
so,
was like-
me and Jim are so like fixed on these movies that
As
we
soon
like.
as she said lost her brother, I was thinking Stu. Honestly.
I was just like, okay, I'm putting that information in my head, and
See, I wasn't thinking
moving
Richie. I wasn't thinking Richie. I was thinking Stu.
no, I did not think they were gonna bring back people this soon from the last movie.
Well, I thought this, like I said, I thought the Stu was going to be like a red herring for the 7th film.
And it still might be.
No, I seriously don't think Stu's alive. That could be a whole different podcast.
And if Stu was alive, he wouldn't show his face without Sydney being around.
Well, if
Does he-
Stu was alive, he would have picked up that mask at the end of the movie.
Maybe he was in the background. He was in the background of 2.
Anyway, we're
But-
going back
but-
to final thoughts.
But I'll also say that I've noticed that all of the Ghostface characters have gotten more athletic
oh yeah,
throughout the series.
they're
like,
learning.
like
They're
Scre-
evolving.
Like Scream, Scream. They weren't very athletic,
Right.
And you could tell it's like they were kind of uncoordinated, like they didn't know what they were doing, but they
Right.
knew what they were doing. But this one, I mean, he's jumping over couches. He's getting hit in the head with a
Frying
with
pan.
He got hit with
Bricks?
a brick.
Well, when the sister got hit with the brick in the face, she lost some teeth.
Oh
That-
yeah,
that
you
did
saw
some
you saw that
damage.
tooth. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But they are evolving because they get shot, and then in the next film he's wearing a bulletproof vest at that point.
and they always
Like
wear
one of these
bulletproof
days they're
vests
just going to be wearing like SWAT armor.
I wouldn't doubt it. In the 7th one, he's just gonna wear like a full like SWAT suit with the
Stu is gonna
Ghostface
wear a
mask.
big ol' like an explosive when they send the bomb squad out. Stu's just gonna be wearing like all of that because he's like, no TV's gonna get me.
Who got you that stuff? My friend Bruce Wayne.
my friend Bruce.
Well, it's like
I'm Stu Man.
I'll close with like in the original Scream, it's like when people would close a door, Ghostface would like, okay, let me find another way in.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostface now, he is relentless. He is getting through that door,
Right.
no matter what. And that closed door is not gonna stop him. It's like, especially with the doctor's office.
Right.
I saw that coming when he was standing at the door. I was
Right,
like, okay,
yeah, he's just gonna
either he's gonna open the door and get stabbed, or Ghostface is just gonna like
break the
show it,
door
like,
down.
It's gonna like stab through the glass. And what happens? He stabs through. He breaks the glass and stabs it. Well, he didn't really stab him. He
kind of pulls a Mike Myers, and he just like
Yes.
grabs the head and just like boosh boosh,
Yeah.
and then stabs him through the nose.
Yeah.
And then they even say that in the thing, and the cop is the guy that's like, ooh, gross. Like, how could
Right.
you- And now you think back, you're like, man, that was probably you,
Yeah.
or it's probably your son or something. And you're like, ooh, that was gross, but it was cool. Like
Right.
taking joy in that.
But
I
they
guess.
are learning. You're right. They are learning from, and how much of that is, Gail Weathers' books, and then they're reading the books and learning from. It's all Gail Weathers' fault. That's my hot take.
It's all Roman's
Cancel
fault.
Gail.
Scream 3 is the reason why these movies exist, because Roman had to be. No, it's Maureen. It was Maureen.
How messed up is the Scream universe that there's Scream 8, I think it is. There's like 8 screams, stabs, and they like go through it even after the third one, right? Like, how messed up is Hollywood in that universe?
Well, in the fifth one, they go
yeah.
to space, or there's time travel. In the fifth one, that's why in the fifth movie, what's his face? Richie is like, they kind of went off the rails after the fifth one.
yeah,
Because the first stab is Scream 1. Stab 2 is the college, and they actually do them for the movies for the most of it. But at some point, they stopped having. They got to 8. There's not 8 screams. There's only 6.
right.
So, but
Do we want to do our ratings 1 out of 10?
Yeah.
On this movie.
yeah, Jim, what do you think?
8, solid 8. Not as good as the first one or the fifth one. Still liked it. Yeah, it's a high 8.
Mm-hmm.
If we were comparing this to 3, I would give
All
this
right.
a 10 out of 10.
A 25 out of 4.
But I would give this a solid 8.7 on my ratings. The amount of athleticism by the ghost faces. I think they did make up for, and I told Jared this after the movie. They kind of made up for the one killer in 3 with 5. Technically 4 in this one. You could say 5.
4.5 because he was trying.
Yeah, 4.5.
He would have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So with the 4 killers in this one, they kind of made up for the terrible third movie.
Terrible 3s.
But yeah, it was a solid 8.7. So I liked it.
I would give it a 9. Like, it's not going to beat the first one. The first one's a 10.
No. Yeah.
But this one, so I've had my expectations super high since I saw the trailer, and I will say, like, this movie did not disappoint. It was my second most highly anticipated movie of the year, with the first anticipated being Indiana Jones. If you've seen the Last Crusade podcast, you'll know why. But this was, it met my expectations, and then it exceeded. I didn't expect it to be as awesome as it was. I thought it would just be another good one, and we could just move on. But I liked it, and I hope that 7 is the last one, and that Stu comes back, Sid comes back, and there's just the whole
Final kill.
yeah, like Halloween ends. It's the end. Like, there is a final fight. This is it. Then I hope that they.
I think they all need to die if that's going to happen.
Well, they probably will. Like,
they just all need to die. It's going to be the most sad, depressing Scream ever.
Like this, yeah. I think it's probably going to be the saddest and probably the goriest one too.
if they decide to go
Right,
that route.
right? If they go that route, I think this could be like.
And they've already confirmed 7. I think
Yep.
7 is the
They've
last.
greenlit.
Yeah, 7 is already confirmed.
I think it is the last one. Like they don't plan on ever doing any more. They might eventually, but
Well, we don't know yet.
in this last little bit. But yeah. So before we end this, I want to know, Jim, what was your favorite death in the movie?
Oof.
It could be killers or victims.
I think I liked the first killer death at the very beginning because you weren't expecting it. And you know when his friend is talking to him and they're playing the hot and cold game, I really liked that because it subverted the expectation a little bit more. I think that was a great kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kenny?
I gotta give it to towards the end when the brother of
Mm-hmm. I don't remember
when,
his name.
I don't know his
Stu
name.
2.0.
Yeah, where he gets a knife straight in
Ethan.
his mouth.
Ethan
Yeah.
is his name.
Oh, but that didn't kill him though.
Nope.
It was the TV.
Oh, the TV that did well. Even though it wasn't a kill, that was still my favorite quote kill scene.
Yeah.
But I guess the best kill scene then would be when Samantha dresses up as Billy.
Yeah.
And gets, like-
and just absolutely just goes to town.
And I think that was the kill on the dad was a reference to how many times she stabbed the son, 22 times, and then
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that she didn't say like
here's
like
44.
father like son.
oh,
she's
Father
killing
like
him.
daughter.
Yeah.
Well, no, like father like son with like Richie, and then the
Oh,
father dying
yeah.
in about the same way, and then it would be cool if she like sliced his throat at that point,
Mm-hmm.
like father
But
like
it
son.
was cool. Like
Yeah.
he thought that she was gonna not kill him, and then she's like, "Nah, you messed
Stabs
with
him
my
through
family."
the eye. Yeah.
Because his whole thing is, you killed my daughter. You got to do this because you're messing with my family, and like, so she just flipped the tables.
Mhm.
But I think my favorite death is probably the cop at the end getting all those stabs with her business suit. It's cool.
Yeah.
But the most entertaining was when the girlfriend fell off the thing and got smacked on the dumpster.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was gross.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Because she already got stabbed up through the stomach and ripped open like Dewey a little bit, and then knocked off the ladder. Right in her last words is, "I don't want to die yet." Like, oh man, and it just smacked on that dumpster.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, so I think that's anything else you guys want to say?
No, I'm good.
Nah, I
got
Go
nothing.
see it. See
Yeah,
it in
yeah,
theaters.
go
Go
see
see
it.
it, yeah.
Go see it. I don't know what our next episode's gonna be. It might be another Scream, or it could be maybe like Indiana Jones or something, getting ready for Dial of Destiny. It could be.
Our viewers will know when we know.
Yeah. We have a new website about ready. So
I will say on that we are working on it. So when you hear this episode, our site will be done. But until then, it is a work in progress, and we are slowly going to diminish our old website, and we are in the works of getting everything done on the new website. So bear with us. We're working on it behind the scenes, so it's all good.
It'll be a scream.
It'll be a killer website.
it will. All right, guys. So see you next time.
Hey everyone, we hope you enjoyed the episode today. If you did, you should go check out the rest of our episodes on our website at ccflugnutspodcast.com.
You can also listen to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Follow us on our Facebook and Instagram pages by searching the Lugnuts Podcast Group.
Thanks for listening, and remember, Jesus loves you, and so do we.